professional background, and why did you get into the construction industry?
I guess I started getting into construction industry was through my first undergraduate degree, and that came about through having done A-levels in maths and fine art and further maths. So I did a foundation year in engineering and then went on to do that degree. So I ended up just doing the engineering, which is called building services engineering. So obviously it had the engineering side, but it's also looked at sustainability, health and wellbeing within buildings, energy management and systems. So I ended up doing my dissertation on like how circadian lighting can improve the health and wellbeing of people in hospitals. So I started with an engineering company where I also worked for a community centre, project managing the Capital Works investment project. I've also been a firmographic surveyor. We were designing these really high spec buildings, but they were not being built to the same standards. So there's this huge performance gap. 40% of carbon is emitted globally from the construction industry. So I was really driven to kind of like work out a way to see if I can bridge that performance gap a little bit by understanding the kind of like on-site building elements of it. So I I ended up working on building sites, starting up as labouring, but then going into a bit more lime work on stone heritage. So I ended up doing this green building at Centre of Alternative Technology, and it was fascinating, really interesting course, and really hit on all elements of sustainability within buildings. So how materials behave with moisture and how that affects the whole performance of the building, but also people's health and well-being, to the whole bigger aspect of like systems thinking and economics and how that impacts filters down into the construction industry and community. As a whole, it was really good, and I was really lucky to have very like nice people to work with or for. So it's always been, I didn't feel too kind of, I'm a woman. There were times I do think that I had this like perception that because I'm a woman I had to prove myself, so that I definitely felt I had to work really, really hard, probably harder than other people, just to show that I'm like strong enough and I'm fit and able. I never really felt that the men particularly made me feel unwelcome. I think it was more me having to prove myself just because I was a minority.
In terms of any challenges or barriers you've experienced in the construction industry, have you had any that you've come across?
Maybe confidence. And I don't know whether that is because it is quite a man-dominated world, I'm not sure, but I do think, like, for example, in the engineering, there was hardly any in the course. There was very little girls, I mean, a handful, if that. But actually, we did understand it, and we all got first. Well, most of us got first in the women. So it was mainly our confidence was lacking, and you just got to kind of believe in yourself. I mean, being on the construction site, it was more, I felt I had to prove myself. And I guess the challenge is confidence, and that can be overcome by belief that we're perfectly capable, women are.
What are the best bits in your job?
Being part of the greater construction industry, I think the best bit of it is it's so relevant to today and our social, both socially and environmentally, and all the challenges that we face for both of those aspects. So being part of it means that you've got such a big scope to make real impact. It's really exciting, you know, all the way from like the design aspect to kind of like the architects, the engineers, thinking about that really early stage design, all the way to the end with the demolition, what you're doing with materials, to the middle of building a building, of like, if you're a carpenter, what materials are you using? So there's so much scope to make change, and that's really exciting. And I guess I'm in a space, and I've finally got a job that I can use all of that experience and really apply it, and it's really exciting. I'm working in the community. I'm able to use my knowledge of materials and circular economy to really like try and think about solutions, and it's just with a great project that isn't out to make profit, but out to actually make change and make real impact on not just the environment, but also people's health and well-being, is something that I'm really interested in.
But what would you say to encourage anyone into green construction?
just get involved. And there's so many job roles, and each one of those job roles you can apply a green role within that. So, and just push that forwards and upskill, or explore as well. I mean, I've explored so much, and eventually I've kind of found my bit which is really driving me and making me happy within that kind of impact and skill set. So get involved and have confidence.